In a world full of somewheres with somebodies, sometimes it's nice to just sit back, relax, and journey to nowhere with Cardboard Command.
Hello, and welcome. Is that too many hellos?
Oh, you got it in your head, man. Don't let him do it.
Hello. And welcome to Journey to Nowhere with Cardboard Command, the show where we talk about magic and life and the lives of magical people.
Special magical friends.
We've all the commanders here today. We got Spencer, Lucas, and Colin here with us.
Tup.
Hey.
Woo!
Goddamn right.
And also me, John. I'm also here.
Yeah, John.
Oh, yeah.
Woo.
Ready to go.
Right.
Living
Yeah.
in America.
And the crowd goes wild.
Yeah.
Whoa, we're in a sold-out stadium here. This is amazing.
3 people.
So fantastic.
It's amazing.
I can't believe all of these people showed up for what we're doing today.
3 people. It's this new really exclusive club.
Yeah.
Guest list is
It's very
forever.
focused on social distancing.
Yeah.
So,
With new social distancing thing, like 3 people, that's the new thing. That's an exclusive big crowd.
That's a stadium capacity right there
Exactly.
with the whatever is happening right now. There's nothing going on.
There's nothing happening right now.
So, hey, big news. We have a schedule now. I thought I'd open with this. We have a schedule that we're doing.
People love schedules.
Which is
Yeah.
okay.
Hey, gotta stay organized.
I thought I'd get us going with something that's really, really exciting, like a schedule.
Well, I'm excited about it personally.
Our schedule is very simple. On Wednesdays, we're going to be streaming on YouTube and
EDH.
Twitch.
EDH gameplay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tabletop, EDH, overhead, camera, the whole shebang.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that shebang.
Yep.
That shebang that I just
Yeah,
described.
we know
to you.
y'all have been missing it, so doing our best to keep them coming back. And it was a lot of fun. Last night was a blast, man.
Yeah.
Too, like, that game was crazy.
It was crazy. You
we tell
won, and then but this is the thing. You know that, what's that Mandela Effect? You guys ever heard of it? Mandela Effect?
Oh yeah.
Where people remember something differently and everybody swears that it happened differently. So
A lot of people
people
thought
remember Lucas
Mandela-
winning, but then a lot
Yeah.
of people remember me winning, and it's like,
You should
Mandela
you should
Effect.
describe the Mandela effect though.
What's that? Oh, the Mandela
I
Effect?
think you just kind of.
Yeah,
I did.
I think you did.
Well, here's a
I
really
feel like I know
simple
what
one.
the effect is.
Here's
now.
a really simple one. A lot of people think, you know, the Berenstain Bears? People remember it being
yeah.
spelled Berenstein Bears, and some people remember it being spelled Berenstain Bears. And people freak out about this because they're like, oh my God, they changed it. And it's hilarious. It's a whole thing.
Wait, which
That's
one is
a
it?
thing.
It's
It's a
Berenstain,
real
right?
thing. It's basically,
Yeah.
it's based on the Mandela Effect is based on how a lot of people, for some reason, remember the news a long time ago that Mandela passed away a long time ago.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, no, he's alive, obviously. But people are like, no, he
thought-
passed away. And
They
that's
thought he
literally it.
passed away in prison.
Yes.
And he never did.
It's a
So,
real thing,
Mm. Man,
Yeah.
I remember.
Obviously there's 2 universes.
obviously. That's the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Sorry,
And you
just
can
quick.
move
'cause
back and forth.
it was so cool. I remember we had like a school assembly when he came and did the visit to, like, the first time he come to Toronto, either ever or however long. Yeah. And it was like, remember those old TVs on the wheelie carts? And they'd wheel them into class and you'd like watch a movie or whatever in class. It was one of those. And we're all sitting in the library
times.
on the floor. I was in like elementary school. And the whole event was at the Sky Dome. I remember that. It was so cool. So it was a really good memory. That was really neat.
That is dope.
Nice.
Right? Oh, yeah.
What grade were you in? How old were you? What were you wearing?
I don't. That's too many questions. I don't know the answer to
Mandela
any
effect
of those.
right there, folks.
Mandela
There you
effect
have
in
it.
action.
We got the Mandela effect in action.
Some people remember Lucas never going to elementary school, but other people swear that he went. The Mandela
Hey,
Effect.
What? And
I
what do you mean by
passed.
the Sky Dome? Do you mean the Rogers Center?
I will never mean the Rogers Center ever.
Yeah, what
It
are
is
you
the
talking
Sky
about? That
Dome.
never existed.
What
What's the
up?
Sky Dome?
That's right. Wearing a J shirt as we speak.
That's amazing.
Sky Dome. That's right.
I
That's
have an
literally
older
it.
Jay's shirt than you have. I should have worn my Jay's shirt.
Why,
Should we
what are
all?
you doing? Clean it up.
Yeah.
I have like a 92, like whenever they won the Stanley Cup or whatever they play.
Oh wow! Oh my! Yeah. Okay.
The World Series, okay?
Shots
Sorry,
fired.
baseball people.
Yeah, when they
Jeez.
won
Yeah,
that sort
give
of
that
weird
shirt
cup.
to someone
down.
who cares. Do us a favor.
Yeah, the cup
When next
in,
time you go to the Rogers Center,
in the
give that shirt
MLB
to
thing,
somebody.
it looks like a harpsichord. You ever notice that?
All right, so is that going to be a product
harpsichord
for
or a
Cardboard
harp?
Command? Blue Jays
Oh, yeah, harp.
1992 Stanley Cup.
This is proper
Mandela
art technique
Effect.
right now.
Yeah, it literally looks like they have like a harp or something, and that's
You
the
guys
thing.
remember when Nelson Mandela won the Blue Jays Stanley Cup at
Oh my God. Yes.
the Rogers
True
Skydome?
story.
Oh, you know what? I remember it. I remember it clearly because Lucas and I, we were in elementary school, and
See,
What was
I
he wearing?
went.
yeah, and Mandela came in and he read the Berenstain Bears to us, right? It was
Wait,
right
don't you mean
before
the
he passed
Berenstain
away in
Bears?
jail. It was unbelievable.
Wasn't it the Berenstain Bears, Colin?
No, absolutely not. No way.
No?
You're
I think
wrong.
it's Berenstein. Isn't it Berenstein?
Yeah,
And that's it.
That sounds right.
Nelson Mandela, baby.
Berenstain. Ugh.
Yeah.
Just makes the last name so much worse. The Berenstain Bears.
Yeah, it's a bit,
Oh
of,
my
bit of a
god!
stain.
Well, there you
on-
go.
on
There's an
college.
amazing throwback and history lesson for everybody.
Well, good night,
You
folks.
know,
When
We're off.
Yeah.
oh man, when the Berenstain Bears toured with Nelson Mandela and they took down like Toronto with a giant concert, everyone was like,
Oh yeah, and it was at the Rogers Center, right, in '92. Oh man, when they won the Stanley Cup that year, I think, if I remember correctly.
all right, I think we're done
I
with this.
am frustrated. I'm gonna get mad.
Okay, John,
We gotta
control
move
it.
on from
Control
this.
us now. We need it.
That's not my job.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll control
he
us.
unplugged that.
Stop, Colin. Stop. All right, I will.
Okay, yeah,
I'm not a
because we were
control player.
actually talking about the alternate ending to our game last night. There, we're back
Oh,
on
okay.
track.
Okay, good.
Full
There we
circle.
go.
Okay, the alternate ending.
Yeah.
When Nelson Mandela won. Okay,
Oh, okay, Sean. No.
What a tragedy.
I'm getting in control. I'm gonna dad all you right now. That is enough.
Calm down, Father.
Okay,
Yes,
okay.
yes, Father.
But
Yes, sir.
let's talk about that. So in this alternate reality
Thank
where
you.
we forgot that Karmic Guide is protection from black,
Yep.
Couldn't
Colin
get -1
magically
minus
somehow
100.
killed it
Yeah.
using a black creature that targets,
Yeah.
and then won the game.
Well, because Karmic Guy doesn't have pro black, right?
Not in this other world.
Not in this other world. So
Oh, we're never gonna escape this stupid thing.
the
But
greatest
Lucas
effect.
could have won like 3 more times. He just doesn't know how to use Bolus's Citadel. The poor dear.
No, because I never. The only time. That's actually so funny. The only time I'd ever played it was last night when I stole it from Colin, and I was having to like scryfall it.
Yeah, you have to
I
scryfall
never
it.
Yeah, you can't even
played
touch it. You're
So I was
like,
oh
like,
my God.
okay, I've lost to this card a bunch of times.
Yeah.
How do I use it?
Just remember, Lucas. Remember, Lucas. You're like trying to remember all those stupid plays that I make.
It was
like,
so
yeah, you had-
funny.
You had like a turned over token with the backside with the art on it that nobody knows what it's there for. It's like some weird advertisement.
Just some random, yeah, totally.
some magic
yeah.
thing.
It was so
Yeah.
funny. Oh my god.
Glorious. It was a glorious game.
Oh yeah. But either way, it
it's a
it
tough
was both the videos. They're up on our YouTube. Check them out, and we're hoping to keep these coming to you folks every week to keep building up that good EDH gameplay. Keep those streams going, until we can all get back at the table together and film an official Cardboard Command episode, which we all know you're itching for.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, totally.
Oh, totally.
Oh,
So
totally.
we're like 10 or whatever minutes in, and we still haven't even covered what's actually on the stack.
Perfect.
All right. So on the stack, we've got some really cool stuff today. We were going to talk about something that's been on Lucas's mind for a while. Now, our actual first episode that we recorded was, a podcast episode, was about the Ikoria set and C20. And we thought we did a pretty good job, but there were some technical issues and we didn't pull through. And so we promised Lucas that we would talk about this today, but Colin and Spencer and I all met and we decided that we're not going to talk
Yeah.
about this. There's
So
no
Lucas
way.
will
What?
talk about
It's
it,
too
and
old.
then we'll
It's
have a
too
separate
boring.
conversation at the top.
And
right.
What? What the hell?
Porcuparrot's just too good.
You guys are hanging out without me?
Porcuparrot is the best designed magic card ever.
Porcuparrot
So Lucas,
is a
I
legendary.
am
creature
hanging
now.
out with you,
Thing.
Lucas.
Oh,
But there's an alternate universe where I'm not hanging out with you.
Oh my god. Okay. Well, seriously, was that the plan for the episode? It's like, hey, we're just gonna piss Lucas off as much as we can because you're doing it.
You're doing a good job.
100%.
I just want to set you off on the wrong
Rip
foot
it on.
there.
It's amazing.
But this is an important
Stanley
issue.
Cup and my Sky Dome and my freedom. Now you're hanging out without me,
freedom.
talking about how good Porcuparrot is, which is a lie. It is that may be the biggest lie you have ever said
Well,
in
let's
your
talk
life.
about how
Let's
good
talk
it is.
about it. Let's talk about it.
I digress.
Yeah.
Let's
digress
okay,
it?
so on the stack today, on
Yeah.
the stack, we have Ikoria, whatever you want to call
Ikoria.
it. Bear and Stain
Ikoria.
Bears. Ikoria, Ikoria.
Yeah.
Porcuparrot,
and
layer of
C20.
parrots.
Layer.
And pork.
So we're going to
Layer
talk
of
about
parrots.
that. And then we're going to talk removal. So we're talking bounce versus kill. Bounce, kill.
Bounce, kill. Bounce, kill. Bounce, bounce, bounce.
Bounce and kill and bounce and kill and bounce.
Oh.
Anyway,
I love it.
those are the things we're talking about today. So that's what's on the stack.
Yeah.
Let's resolve some of our issues. Lucas, take us away with some Ikoria and C20.
Oh my god. Okay. Stupid Porcuparrot. No. Awful. It is hot garbage.
Okay, just
It's
gonna let
hot
you talk.
garbage. No. Okay. You said legendary. It is not a legendary creature. Like, look at this. Okay. This was I'm so mad. This was like my first like argument and main thought with, okay, John, why are you writing notes? This
Legendary
worries
in
me.
spirit.
I thought
It's
this
like-
was a debate.
I thought you were gonna like
Let's
this is,
debate
yeah.
it.
And then when
Let's
I'm
debate
done
it.
ranting, you're gonna
Yeah.
pull them out and be like, "But you said, and you said."
Oh,
None of
no,
that.
Okay, Lucas,
All
you
right.
have 3 minutes
already
and
lit up.
30 seconds.
Seriously, this was the biggest
Spencer
card
with the sorry.
for me when I was just like, no. Half the time with Ikoria stuff, I thought like, are they running out of ideas here? And like, I'm sorry, but they ran out of everything with this card. No, it looks awful. It is not good. Okay? 3 mana to mutate to tap and ping equal to the time it's mutated. So you're going to be paying 3 off the bat for like a pinger, which is like pretty standard. And they think it's going to increase. Well, how many times do you think you're going to mutate this card in a game? Like if, like, I don't know, if you mutated it 3 or 4 times back and forth, dead, not dead, whatever, like then that already is going on too long and somebody should have won. Like, no good.
That-
I hate it. I'm sick of it. I've had enough.
He hates it so
no
much.
Porcuparrots.
He hates it.
I'm done.
He
Sorry.
hates it.
I have questions for you, Lucas.
Porcuparrot. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
He's got
So,
questions.
question number 1. What do you think about porcupines and parrots having a child that is a hybrid?
And how do they
Where
do
do you
it?
stand on that? Are you cool with them doing that and then producing this like crazy
Oh,
super experiment?
That's a good yes. Yes.
This majestic creature.
Yeah.
I would like to
What
point
about-
out, design is fantastic on this. It does not fly.
Painful.
It has parrot, but it doesn't fly. Why? Because it's a porcupine. It can't have feathers. It has spikes.
But why
Really?
can it not? How do you
'Cause-
know it's not going to be a porcupine with parrot wings? Who are you?
Oh, because
That's way
obviously
cooler.
the spikes are the dominant gene.
But a porcupine that would fly is way cooler.
Yeah.
Actually relates to another card that I'm actually excited about to talk about. It's ironic. They produced my least favorite and most favorite card in this set.
So what
So
if
we'll
I
get
told
to
you
the
there's
most favorite
something
in a
that
bit.
does fly on the Porcuparrot? There is something that flies.
Oh,
The spikes.
the damn
because
spikes.
what it does is it taps down and fires porcupine spikes at you. That's how it does its damage. This card is brilliance.
What? Okay, and also how far can porcupines, like real ones, actually? I don't know if they have any amount of trajectory on those things. I think it's either 0 or very little. I
think it's
don't
like
remember.
0
I
almost.
feel that I
0.
used to know this.
I think it when
Oh,
it
they can shoot.
taps, it shoots. But I don't think they're just like gunning at things like screw you, shoo. You know, oh my eye.
It's worth noting that this card is very similar to another card that previously existed, Prodigal Pyromancer. 3 to cast 1/1, taps to deal 1 damage to target creature or player.
Yeah,
any
I was
target
thinking of
now.
stuff like that.
All right.
That is the red version of Prodigal Sorcerer. Porcuparrot is 1 more, so it does cost more, but it comes in as a 3/4. And if you're playing with Mutate in your deck, then you get more value off it in the end. If you're not playing mutate in your deck, you could always mutate it onto a creature, especially if it has hexproof or something like that, and you get a bigger benefit. You get a little bit of a beefier creature with a 3/4, and it essentially plays the same role as the Prodigal Pyromancer.
Can I blow Lucas's mind here? How good is a pinger with a Gorgon's Flail attached, so it has Death Touch? It's pretty good. It's like, oh, you drop this 9/9, Jogon son. Now, if you mutate Porcuparrot onto a I don't know if there's 1-drop Death Touches. I'm sure there are.
Yes, there certainly is.
Oh yeah, there's a couple.
Then you drop it turn 3 or turn 2 and mutate onto it. You can ping remove a commander like that, right? Because when you mutate onto a creature on the field, it's got haste, technically. Mutate it onto Will-o'-the-Wisp, a 0/1 flyer for 1, has pay 1 black, regenerate. Then now you have a 3/4 flyer with regenerate. I mean, that's friggin' awesome.
Yeah,
Okay.
you essentially give free keywords to a
free
Prodigal Sorcerer
keywords.
with haste.
I got absolutely smoked in a draft by Porcuparrot, and
Really?
what's there's one that mutates. There's a card that has mutate and it has like Death Touch. So one of those, and it just
Huma something Huma.
yeah, it just wrecked me so bad.
Okay,
So,
yeah, but that's
I mean,
a draft,
Insatiable.
right? I'm thinking
Hemophage.
Commander. But sorry,
Fair.
you finish your. I'm sorry.
But it's it's along the same lines as what these guys are talking about, right? So it's like it's even easier to give it Death Touch in Commander, and it's still gonna kill your stuff.
It's gonna machine gun your
Okay,
things.
all right, okay, and you know what? My argument is to all of these points that you've raised. It looks stupid,
Awesome.
and so is its name.
I might have to. I just
That's
looked
it.
really closely. So I have the alternate full art. It's hard to see. I apologize.
The alternate full art, everything's looked pretty amazing.
No, I mean, the art's cool, but I didn't know that it couldn't fly. And it just looks like a fat parrot. I'll be honest with you. It looks really stupid.
Like it got so fat, it's like Yago.
Yeah, it looks like just looks like a dude who's wearing a parrot outfit as like a mascot, and he looks really out of shape. That's exactly what it
See,
looks
you're
like.
just making me
What's
like
that guy's
it more.
name?
It has
It's
Gilbert
Yago.
Gottfried.
Oh, Gilbert
Gilbert
Gottfried.
Gottfried's
yeah,
voice.
Yago from Aladdin. Hey,
Yeah,
Aladdin!
Okay.
fat Iago.
I'm a
Porcuparrot.
Porcuparrot.
Hey,
I'm gonna shoot a quill at you because I'm garbage.
No, I don't want a cracker. No, that's not it.
No, this works.
You
Gilbert
see?
Godfrey. I can't even.
The Porcuparrot was meant to be, man.
It was.
Okay,
It was.
imagine putting Porcuparrot on Queen Marchesa. Queen Marchesa, Death Touch, haste. When it enters
she's
the
a
battlefield, you
human?
become the monarch. At the beginning. Oh wait, human can't do it.
Can't do it.
Ignore me. Ignore me.
Wrong.
You fool!
Ah.
You were a
You're
fool.
off the channel now.
Good
Come on.
Somebody get this man a Willy Wonka song, an Oompa Loompa song, and get him out of here.
I mean, I guess you know what the way I'm looking at mutate these days is because at first I hated it. I was like, this is dumb as hell.
Yeah, and I'm still kind of.
I am looking at it this way. So in my Corona deck, where I like to beef up Corona with enchantments, there are some great mutate creatures that give first strike flying, right? Because you mutate it onto Corona, you keep Corona as a 5/5, and then it becomes an 8/8 flyer first strike just because you paid 4 mana, and it's permanent, quote unquote. Or it's just great as a creature drop because I don't have any creatures in the deck. So honestly, I think there's some versatility. Porcuparrot obviously is the best one, but whatever.
You want to get real gross with it?
Let's get gross.
Mutate it onto something with infect.
Let's get gross.
Oh,
yeah.
Ayo. Devastating blow, son. Yeah.
Bing bong.
Yeah, you could do that. Throw that out there. Jesus. Yeah, good point. Which I'd love to make an infect deck, but I don't know.
It
Can't bring yourself to do it.
Can't
do it. Do it.
I don't know. I still think you should.
It's just going to be like, all right, everybody, kill the infect
Give in to
player.
your
It's like,
hatred.
oh, okay.
Oh man.
Okay.
Yeah. So here's what's funny, is like half of those arguments you made, I did not actually think of.
I
it's
think
like-
we all knew that. Obviously,
100%.
you're going off your gut instinct,
And-
and we're
Oh, for
Everyone
sure.
just
But you know what's
smiling and
funny?
nodding.
And it's like, yeah, okay, but I still hate it.
that's because you
It's
are a
just
man
that
of freedom.
card.
You can't
That's
take my
right.
freedom.
That's
I won't
right.
give it
not
to
with
you.
this. Not with this crap.
I won't give it to
No.
you.
Yeah. We may take your land,
Zuh.
but we can never take your freedom.
Yeah, what you will take is Bolas's Citadel. I'll never forget that.
He took it.
Mel
Took it to
Gibson.
the bank. Wow, why would you do that?
Freedom.
Oh,
Come on.
It's because we're
All right.
totally going to cut that.
That's the taste
so-
of. Oh, it's going to be amazing. Go
Oh
on.
no, it's gonna be in there.
Taste of freedom.
So Ikoria, I mean, yeah.
That
we done
was
with
Mel
Ikoria? Should we
Gibson,
move on?
right? That line.
Well, they had cycling. What else they
Huh?
have? They had a bunch of stuff. It's grown on me.
I think
It's
like
grown
I
upon
like
me.
I like that they stuck with they said they were going to make the kind of like make your own monster thing, and they really stuck with that, and I think they did a good job of it. And
Oh, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
actually impressed with some of the things that mutate creatures can do in Commander. That's like Colin's been playing them a lot. Do you think you would have played them, Colin, if you weren't like stuck?
Nope.
Kind of.
But I mean, with Vial Smasher, look, you're going to get some value because mutate's generally cheaper in most cards.
It's good with Vial Smasher.
Than the CMC, so you're going to get an extra damage or two off of the Vial Smasher trigger. Plus, you're going to be able to cast it earlier. You can beef up Vial Smasher, make him scarier. Yeah, I wouldn't play it if I didn't make a deck out of the cards I had lying around, but that has helped me understand that it's cool. It's got some versatility, man. It's got some.
And of course, we already talked about the Ozolith and some of the counters that that they have in the set,
and we
which is
love
pretty
that
sweet.
stuff. Yeah, that stuff's
We love that.
dope.
We love it to bits.
Love it to bits.
Yeah. So and that was a good reminder, good point, John, was that, that like make your own monster theme with Mutate. It was really fun. Like just as like a mechanic in the sense of like, for me, it's kind of more of like a collector's item kind of feel or kind of thing. Like it's still, it's yet to be something that I would really play. I've yet to put a Mutate card in any of my Commander decks. For play wise, they're not hitting the value that I would want out of them to play. But as that concept and for a set, I thought that was really cool.
You know, the one thing I'd say, Lucas, I guess it's hard to say, but if you have decks that are like machine gunning damage, there are some that have death touch. That's really useful. There's going to be some interesting ways you can utilize their abilities. I think you utilize the I guess their keyword abilities, like First Strike, Flying, those keyword abilities. That's my favorite way to utilize them is act as like an enchantment, basically. Pay for, give a creature Flying First Strike. That's the way I look at it.
I guess it opens up too to having more creature. Like if you want to have auras, in a kind of attack based deck with a lot of creatures already in it, then it gives you could potentially shift to being more creature based.
In a pinch.
And slap those. Hey?
In a pinch, right? Yeah.
In a pinch,
you need a creature.
Well, but
it's
so
also
no,
kind of like
you're creature based, and then you cast for its mutate costs and get the like whatever. Say you get a cast trigger, and then you can have haste with your mutation.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Give her to the
it's
river.
also like an enchantment with protection from everything on it. Because once it's actually mutated on there, there's no way to interact with it unless you're just interacting with the creature itself. So whatever's underneath is basically non-existent, which is a really interesting situation. The only time it really ends up mattering is if you blink it or flicker it, because then it comes back as two creatures.
Yeah, which is funny. I think it's interesting. Cool. It's going to open the game up to some weird things.
Funny. Huh. But see, and like on the flip side with that, Spencer, because what I always thought is the biggest vulnerability with Mutate is the fact that you're putting everything all in the same creature. It's like you're putting all your eggs in one basket. So now I do my one creature. Ooh, cool, because we're going to talk about it. My one creature removal, either kill it or bounce it. I have now taken care of all that mana you've invested in like multiple creatures or mutations.
Yeah, that's where I think Mutate sucks when you have multiple instances of Mutate. I don't think that's very strong. I think utilizing pieces in your deck to just like little amplification. That's where I think it's cool. So I agree with you, Lucas, 100%.
They have niche uses in Commander. Against bounce, it is definitely preferable than most enchantments, though, because you will bounce the card underneath back to the hand as well. Whereas if it was an enchantment, the enchantment would just die.
Yeah. Yeah,
Plus,
that
if
I'd
you
go.
if you remove the target of that that's being mutated onto, or your opponent does, then you still just get a reduced costed mutated creature with mutate.
Yeah,
Words
but those
me
are good.
say good.
Those are good points, though. If it's a more of like a creature-based deck, then you get more creatures, but are getting that like enchant creature type effect. That's pretty neat.
Right?
That's a good point.
I
And then
think
if you have like
yeah,
grave recursion, then you've got more in your graveyard to work with.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
It's
I think it
interesting.
adds like an interesting dynamic to the game
Huh.
that wasn't there before.
That's cool. Well,
We got time for mutate.
Porcuparrot aside, I'm going to take a second look at a couple of these cards.
Porcuparrot.
Porcuparrot is the best of them.
Okay, that alt art is actually great.
Porcuparrot has its own sitcom.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Porcuparrot with me. It's not Gilbert
me,
Godfrey.
Oh my god, Gilbert Godfrey.
It's me, Gilbert Godfrey. Oh, that was pretty good.
That's good. You're
It
good
is.
at
It's
that,
like
man.
you can, but you have to yell. Like Gilbert
I
Godfrey,
know.
you gotta yell. So it's like you gotta
Now, hold
back.
on.
You
yeah,
gotta
just
back away
back
from
up,
your mic,
bro. Back up.
right? 100%.
I think you also have to squint when you do it. It's just a requirement.
Yeah.
You know who has it's really
The
funny,
aristocrats.
That's
Oh,
good.
that was nice. That was really good.
That's really good.
That was fun.
Hey Al, are you Al's dad? Oh yeah, I got it. I got
Pretty good, man.
I moved
Oh,
my
nice
mic
job,
back,
Lucas.
right, and now make sure that
Does
that
the
didn't
squint help?
mess up my audacity. Oh, we're still good. Sorry, what?
Does the squint help?
You know what? It does. It's I'm a method voice actor, so you got to embody.
Is that a thing? Method voice acting?
Oh, it is now. I just made it up.
I
I'm gonna
have to
retire
eat
on it,
10
actually.
pineapples.
Starting today.
in
It is-
1
It
week.
is now.
Yes.
Copyright.
Oh,
Hollywood.
I have.
Gilbert Godfrey lived as a parrot for like 5 weeks before he got into
Right? And he also lived in the desert too. He lived in
thought it was
a...
Gilbert
those, you know those
Gottfried.
desert parrots.
Yes, I remember that too.
Isn't it Godfried?
It is Godfried. Yep.
I think that's in the other universe. Yeah.
So
Yeah, has anyone ever made that connection?
there's a real...
Desert parrot.
Godfrey
I just
effect.
did right now. Like
there's a real method acting or
not a
method
thing.
voice acting story from David Attenborough that I know. I heard from another podcast that when he would come in to do his voice acting, he'd drink a whole thing of whole milk before his takes to get that like silky, smooth.
Like, what's up?
just cool.
and
whole
here
thing?
we have, I guess, like a huge
That's like the-
glass, you know.
Just cool
And
and,
here we
fat in
have
that voice.
the
right up.
Porcuparrot.
Not
That
like
is
a
the
fat.
complete opposite of singers.
The Porcuparrot in its natural habitat, attaching itself like a weird amoeboid bug on top of a creature that kills things when it touches it. Here we have the Porcuparrot turning its body and murdering a human being. Just like that, the Porcuparrot feeds again. Ow! Oh my god!
It's so perfect.
I'm so sorry, everybody listening. And here we have.
Yeah.
Do it, John. Do it.
And here, the mating call of the Porcuparrot. Hey, ladies!
Hey, lady!
Lucas, yeah.
You fool!
Oh my god.
Okay, actually, yeah. If nobody here has seen the Gilbert Gottfried "You Fool" video, it was Foursquare, Celebrity Squares. Go
Yeah.
look that up on YouTube.
If you don't know who he is as well, if you don't even know what Aladdin is, well,
I just feel
Whatever.
bad for you.
Yeah.
You really got to keep one jump ahead of the breadline.
hey,
Oh
nice.
my god.
It's a
Oh
whole
my
new
God.
world out there for those youth, man. God.
You got a new fantastic point of view.
Oh,
I want to tell them no, where to
man.
go,
You know what I mean?
or say they're only dreaming.
I don't buy that.
Oh,
am I a
If only
parrot
they
or
would
am
because-
I a porcupine? I can't figure it out.
Yeah, Spencer, that's because you're riffraff. You street rat.
you street rat.
You street rat. We're definitely getting flagged here.
Oh my
What, street
God.
rat?
Disney's so
my
scary.
God.
Disney's coming after us.
Be nice.
Oh
God-
my god.
Goddamn
so
Disney.
funny.
All right, well,
I
Anyway,
catch
I think
my
the
breath.
point is
Let's-
if they looked closer, they'd find out there's so much more to Porcuparrot.
yeah, there's so much more. A little bit of spiky thing. I don't know the song well enough to make this joke. I apologize.
Oh
All right.
my god.
So let's bounce off
So,
this
hey,
topic. and
Bounce versus
let's get
bounce
the
versus
hell out of
roll.
here.
Let's bounce.
man. Okay. All right. No. Okay.
Okay.
Because all right, I did want to talk about
Ooh.
other Ikoria commander stuff. And then can I just mention one card and then we'll do bounce versus kill?
Let's
Because
get
I said
to it.
my least and my most favorite. Okay, most favorite. It's a flying freaking shark, people. That's the coolest thing ever.
It's a flying
Ever.
shark. It is.
Shabraz the sky shark.
It's funny. I think it's
versus
so
Porcuparrot.
stupid, but that's fair.
Shabraz.
Let's just.
Ooh, baby,
Lucas.
We got a shark. Let's give it wings.
Yeah, why
Yeah.
does it even
Genius.
fly?
Genius. Why does it
That
not?
shark had a Red Bull.
Hey. little marketing here.
But like
for you.
seriously, right? Because like dragons are just worms with wings, flying worms, right? So shark with wings,
Like earthworms?
way scarier. No, like worm with a U, John. Keep up.
I know, but you could have said
Oh.
like a lizard.
Worms.
Yeah.
Worms.
Worms.
So here's
Nothing but a worm with wings.
So here's
about
how
the
I make
Guillermo
that shark
wings.
scarier. To be frank, like I actually love the idea of the flying shark theme,
Right.
but I think you could make it scarier
Yeah.
if you mutate a Porcuparrot on top of it, just like this
Oh,
shark flying through the air,
God.
this little crazy bird just
No.
freaking out on top.
No, that's you know
What's
what?
that? Yeah.
No, it isn't. That's ruining it. You know what that is? That is taking a nice sports car and putting like a $17 crap muffler on it. That's
Oh,
what that's
yeah.
doing.
Yeah,
so
but
you like
it's
you're
so
driving, you
loud.
hear that, and you're like, "Oh, what is that?" And you turn around, it's this great looking car. And some moron put the worst muffler ever
Oh my
on
God.
it. That's what that
What
is.
it would look like is just
No.
Porcuparrot like latching on to the top of the shark. And the shark's like trying to eat it, you know, and he's like,
I can't fly. I can't fly.
oh my god, Porcuparrot! See, he's a legendary creature in this universe.
Oh my god.
Truly.
They're gonna write lore about this guy. You just
I
you wait.
will admit though, it would be more entertaining to watch a Porcuparrot screaming freak. I mean, like look at the face on the art on that card. He's just like, blah! So like look at the art of that, him freaking out, flying on the back of a shark, as
Yep.
opposed to brawling. Oh yeah, that is way funnier.
It is funny.
100%.
If you mutate Porcuparrot on top of Brelin, then you know it gives Porcuparrot wings, which
I feel
Which
just
is,
makes it a parrot.
yeah,
it's just a normal
spikies.
parrot with teeth.
but with spikes and shark mouth.
I'd pay a lot of money
but,
to
like,
see that. Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like that mix of Porcuparrot and Shabraz, I forget how you pronounce it.
Shabraz.
Shabraz.
BR.
Cool. Yeah, that mix is like a metaphor for how I want to play Magic.
Yep.
It's excellent.
That's pretty fair. It's
Wow.
excellent. I think that's fair.
Metaphor what?
Whoa.
Whoa.
How he wants to play Magic. Were you not
He
paying
wants to
attention?
live his life like a
Yeah,
like
but it's meta for what?
three horrible creatures mixed together.
It's meta. I can answer that, John. It's meta for me.
Oh.
Ooh.
Deep.
All right, let's bounce on to the next topic.
Let's
This
bounce
is
the
enough.
hell out of here.
All right. Yeah.
That
He's
was
the man.
our closing.
Good
to
good picks,
segment.
Lucas.
I
Good
just needed
pick,
to
Lucas.
mention him. Thank you. I'm gonna sit the next
Shabraz,
couple plays
she
out.
moves.
All right. Well, let's bounce out of here and destroy
Yeah, on our way to the
this
Stanley
next
Cup.
topic. Yeah, so on our way to the MLB Stanley Cup 93.
Yeah.
Go on.
Okay, so the next topic, of course, is we're talking about bounce versus kill or destroy type stuff. What's better removal? Discuss.
Very situational. All right, good night, guys.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of how
Basically,
I feel
it
about
depends on your situation.
Bye.
Well, I don't view. I think it is a mistake to view bounce as removal.
Oh, there you go.
No.
This is a hot take, everybody.
We're right into it now.
Hot
Please
take. Hot take.
All right,
take it away.
Tell us about your
Spencer.
take, Spencer.
Okay. So while there's a similarity in that you can still bring things back from the grave, It's harder to bring that back things from exile, so those two types of removal are different. I think there's a similar camp that bounce does play in, because it does take something off the board temporarily, but you are almost assured to get it back unless you do some other thing like wheel a hand. Because of that, the way that I look at bounce is not as removal, because I don't expect removal to necessarily come back, though it can. But with anything I bounce, I expect it back. In fact, I expect very specific orders, because I know what I see on the field. I know how it's going to come back and in what order for the most part. What I see it as is it's tempo magic. That is the definition. It is something that slows down your opponent. You are giving them negative advantage, which allows you to overtake them.
So you're just trying to return more CMC than you're spending on that spell, I imagine, is the idea.
Yeah, and that's what I like about it. That was where the idea came to mind, because I was playing a game. Well, it was a couple earlier in the week, and one where I was bouncing some people's stuff, but the other was when I was getting my stuff bounced and returned more. And every turn, I was just like having to do the same thing I did the past 2 or 3 turns, and I was like, this is totally, like, it totally locked me out. I was like, hey, man, like, you know, because if it was in the graveyard, and that was the main thought that I'd have with this, is because for that deck that I was playing, if it was in the graveyard, I had grave recursion. So, and you know, depending on, grave recursion can be cheaper to play the creature than playing the creature itself. So at that point, I was like, man, I would rather they were killing my stuff, because then I could grave recursion it, as opposed to having to replay. Yeah, I know. Word made it up. It's amazing. It's good word. two words. I'm on a roll here. A term and a word. I'm locking this down. But that was, I thought. I was like, I have wasted turns here just trying to replay this stupid creature. and I lost hard because of that.
Yeah.
So that, Spencer, that is the exact point that I had thought.
I think that's very fair. But this is my issue, I think, with bounce. It's primarily a blue thing, and destruction sort of peters into white and black, and red gets it a bit too. So my thing with why I like destruction spells more generally, in terms of interacting with the rest of the table, is that there's just a lot of variation. So if we're talking board wipes, you've got all sorts of options. Ones where you draw cards equal to the amount of creatures destroyed. You gain life equal to the amount of creatures destroyed. If you have a black deck and you have a mass return spell in your hand, you wipe the field, that can be handy. I just think there's a lot of variation, whereas bounce, mass bounce especially, is usually specific, or is usually very similar. You know, you're picking non-land permanents, or you're doing artifacts and enchantments, or not that they're not strong, they're very powerful. Especially, you know, in the right instance, where, you know, if you, like, there's some, like, 2 to cast instance where you can bounce artifacts from one player, and if you do it in the right timing, you know, before your turn starts, I mean, you can, like, set them back, like, 3 turns, you know? So, again, I think, obviously, it's very situational, but for me, I like destruction, because I think there's just, you can pick weird ones that fit with your deck's goals and strategies more, just because there's more variation. I feel like it's been around for a very long time, and there's more colors.
But at the same time, bounce has its niche as well. Like, if your deck is meant to be bouncing your stuff, you have also the versatility to bounce your opponent's stuff. And then if you have, you know, things in play like Ristic Study type thing, well, that's obviously like the top one you would want to just have people casting spells again for.
Good point.
But, you know, there are other spells where you could get advantage off of other people casting things or having things enter the battlefield again.
That's a good point.
For example, if you had, you know, Soul Sisters and you're playing your opponent's playing a creature-y deck, and for some reason you want to bounce stuff,
get you
which
life.
is, I mean, that makes sense. You might want to do that in Azorius. Or, you know, a color combination that has Azorius in it, and then it's really, really good. And then, so the other place, of course, that I've used it, so you were talking, I think, about Rebuild, is it? Where you're bouncing artifacts back to hands. And so, you know, in an artifact storm deck, you could choose to bounce your opponent's artifacts back to their hand to kind of deal with a threat, or you can use it on yourself so that you can keep your storm going. And,
so
take off.
it's Hercule's Recall.
Hercule's Recall. Yeah, there's
2
some
to
other
cast
ones as well.
instant, and then there's Amazing Retrace, which is return all artifacts you control to your hand for 1 blue. And that's where I think bounce is awesome, though. Maybe not so much for the destruction, like Spencer was saying, it's not really board wipe, but I love bouncing for saving my stuff. That's my favorite thing to do with bounce, like protection.
Yeah,
if you want to talk about
it's like pseudo
really
protection
mean
stuff,
there's stuff like Sunder that bounces lands. So at that point, if you're bouncing all lands, that's almost like destruction because you're playing 1 a turn.
Yeah.
Rude,
Too dirty.
Yeah,
though.
it's pretty dirty.
Riding dirty.
Yeah, that's like there are a few CEDH decks that do Sunder,
Of course.
but you don't find it very often in casual Magic because nobody wants to play against that. But the reason I brought that up is because the decks that do that, just as the decks that do Retrace or Hercule's Recall, are decks that are using a symmetrical bounce that benefit them either more or hurt them less than their opponents. So there are 2 things to look at when we're talking about mass spells. So board wipes or mass bounce. That is symmetrical versus asymmetrical spells.
Mm-hmm.
Symmetrical means it affects everybody the same way, which means you have to figure out how your deck's going to benefit or take less loss from that. Asymmetrical means it doesn't affect you, you don't have to worry. And generally what you're going to find is people don't play spot removal. It's not removal again, but bounce. They don't do spot bounce like casting Unsummon in Commander, because why would you do that when they're just going to replay it next turn and you could just remove it instead? But what they do is they play
What they do
is play
that's poop.
mass bounce. They'll try and hit multiple targets. A good example is that 5 to cast spell. I forget the name of it right now, but it hits 6 targets, and you can choose those
right
targets.
here, bro. Aether Gale.
Ether Gale.
Oh
That's the
yeah,
one.
so good.
You can bounce your own stuff for more value, or you could bounce your opponent's stuff and not touch your own stuff, so you have board advantage. You don't get that kind of same versatility with a spell like Hex, which is similar. It's 1 mana more, it costs 6. It's one of the best named cards, I think, because it also destroys 6 creatures, and it's called Hex. Wonderful.
Wonderful.
But generally speaking, you're not going to want to target your own creature for destruction as often as you would want to bounce your own creature for value. So there's more versatility in bounce generally. And
and asymmetry.
Yeah. And I guess, what's funny in that, you were saying that a lot of people don't play those like 1 blue bounce a creature, 2 blue bounce a creature instants. What's funny, I think that they're super, super powerful.
Yeah, I totally play
because
those.
Again, you can, my commander's going to get killed for the millionth time. I can always hold up 1 blue. It's very easy to do. Bounce, protect. But in the right instance, you can save the table from infinite combos or you from dying just for 1, and that's super powerful.
But it's 1 to lose board presence, so you'll have to replay it, which means it's going to cost you resources. When a lot of other 1-drop spells, if you're in white, protection. If you're in blue or green, hexproof. So there, or you could just put your Swiftfoot boots on, which is what most people do anyway.
Yeah.
The ability to protect your creature with a bounce spell exists, but it's less utilized for that. So I'm not saying you'll never use Unsummon. I'm saying you're less likely to have a deck with Unsummon in it.
I use it, in decks where it's so dependent on having the commander that without the commander, especially if it's getting killed twice, it's like I can barely play it anymore. I can't do anything. So there, it's nice to avoid that commander tax, and it's a little bit of spot removal that's just like shockingly annoying. Like somebody spends their whole turn being like Runescar Demon, maybe not that one, but they spend all their mana to play some Eldrazi, and they're like, you are dead next turn. You're just like at your end step. Nah, you can just take that back.
Yeah.
Joke
1
on.
mana, blank.
Yeah.
Totally.
All
or
right.
it just bounce, right?
Just,
and that's what, yeah. Sorry, but that's what I was thinking with it too, is because it's with that unsummon. I love that card because you have both. You have so many options for that one blue. Like the being able to bounce my own stuff is like the safety net. Protect myself, like you're saying, to bounce your stuff if somebody's coming in at me. Because like the card where it shines the most is my Niv Mizzet deck. Because then it's like that bounce is that attempt of spot, like quote unquote removal, not removal. But just as that self-protection from commander damage or from dying from combat. And then thirdly, which more people would still use it for, I'm learning to do, is you have that as that political piece. So you're like, look, I can save you for whatever, and then bounce a threat off of somebody, right?
Or look, you can attack me all you want, but I mean, you're gonna have to play your commander again, bud. I'm sorry. So maybe just attack this other guy and we can talk.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think of Rite of Replication.
Oh,
it's the greatest card ever. I
Colin
mean, I don't know if
got
it fits
away
in that
with
strategy.
a little bit of a well, no, if you're the target of it, right?
Oh yeah.
So they've just sunk 9 mana.
Oh my
Rite
god!
Replication that will like kill your stuff. And you're just like,
biffed that one last night so hard. Oh, I was so mad.
Oh, that's the best
my
thing ever.
God.
6 Runescar Demons. Jesus.
That's
would have been
that's a good
amazing.
that's a good example though. Would you rather do that or actually kill the thing with a tragic slip or with a anguished unmaking?
But if you're a mono blue, you never have that option.
well, I mean, if it's your card that's being targeted, I think you'd rather unsummon it.
Then get it exiled.
I mean, you can give it.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
You can give it hexproof, but like those cards are more rare. Giving it, indestructible or something like that. I guess protection's good.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not a good card. I just think that the reason you're less likely to find it is because there's a lot of similar. Even if you look at mono blue, there's a lot of similar cheap options that can accomplish the same thing effectively. Like you can use. I think it's there's a sort of Merfolk E card that I'm forgetting the name of. Really old. Tap 2 and tap it, and you can phase something out. So that would accomplish the same thing, and it's recursive.
Well, that's very good. But I will say this, Spencer, that you, just like boots and equipment, you see that coming as an opponent. So, I moved to equip. I held up 1 mana. I'm going to exile this very key piece that you need for your infinite combo. And you go, I baited you out with this, right? So now I'm going to bounce my creature. You lose your removal, some of your best removal piece. And I keep my creature. So, yeah, again, that is another thing too, where you bait, like you can bait people into traps. You can, you know what I mean? That's why I kind of like it. Because if you can have 1 mana open, man, it's like a real good peace of mind. Yeah. I guess that's me.
Yep. So just with that question, like, what would you rather? I don't know. I mean, because before it always would have been destruction, no question. But honestly, after, like, now that I have really built this Minato deck and have been rocking that a bunch more recently, I just keep thinking more and more about bounce. Like, I am really seeing a lot more value with it. I'm having a lot of fun with it. So I don't know. I've been leaning that way a lot recently.
I get it, man.
Right?
I think good board wipes are expensive. Well, not, but some of the best ones are very expensive, obviously. But the bounces, like Washout, I mean...
Yeah, I was hoping you'd mention that card. It's awesome.
Love that card. 4 to cast. You're just like, who's pissing me off the most? All right, green players. Zoop. And you just you hit
color.
Tons of commanders because every commander has like lots of colors.
Well, that's another one of those like ones what we're talking about asymmetry, right? Like you do have, it seems like you have a lot more of those options for bounce. It's not that they don't exist in other things, but I think you need to jump through a few more hoops. It's not as built in. So like you need to, if you want to, play a lot, get around board wipes, then you need an indestructibility, right? And to make that one-sided. So you need that extra thing. Or like in my Kadena deck, right? Like I can, what's that thing called? The 7 to cast colorless one that everyone knows. makes you sacrifice all.
All to dust.
All is dust or whatever.
All is dust.
Yeah.
How did I forget the name of that? But yeah, all is dust will get rid of more of my opponent's stuff than my stuff usually,
Mm-hmm.
and so I can build faster. But I think that's more of an like it's again you have to like build around that.
Mm-hmm.
So all is dust is actually a unique example because it actually forces sacrifice, which is even harder to get around because you can't give indestructibility to deal with that. Exiling does the same thing, but that's why those things usually cost more. There's very few ways to get around a mass bounce spell. Like you would essentially have to flicker something so it comes back in at end of turn,
Okay, that's a
or
good
have
point.
enough mana production and flash to be able to put everything back out.
That's a very
So,
good point, actually,
yeah.
Spence.
Bounce is incredibly effective at dealing with the field. That's actually why I've always leaned towards bounce. I usually do spot removal and mass bounce, and maybe a little bit of board wipe if I was. I mean, back in my more mean days. I did a little
Yesterday,
more board wipe.
yesterday, I remember you like bounce the field, wipe the field, wipe the field.
Actually, I did.
I was
both.
like,
Yeah, you
we
did
saw
both.
5
Yeah,
board
you did.
wipes.
It's amazing.
I
It was
specifically
crazy.
I specifically did a 3 to cast board wipe for toughness 4 or greater, so that Lucas wouldn't be able to replay the thing when I did a field bounce.
Oh, citywide bust.
So if you have
Such a good card.
Mwah.
you have 2 different uses for 2 different tools.
Mhm.
Yep. And
So
just
I don't like. Oh god.
no, you know what? You take it, John. I've talked a
I
lot.
don't like having to. I don't like having to remember what my opponents have or think about what my opponents are doing. So, which is not great. I don't recommend it as
Yeah.
something that you're trying to learn to do in Magic.
Just terrible advice. You know why, John? Because your decks are so
but-
much. There's so much. It's like a computer. You built this massive, all these working pieces, and you're just like, you get into like a Rain Man situation. So you're like, you got a million things going up in your head, and then you just don't have time to worry about what Lucas has.
I'm just
forget
waiting for someone to like walk up to me, like Matt Damon
Isn't it Tom Cruise?
when he's solving the problem on the board.
Yeah.
I just want someone to like see.
Hey, Lucas.
Yeah, Goodwill
Lucas.
Yes,
hey,
it
Lucas.
is.
How about dem apple? You like? Oh, I already screwed up. You like apples?
Yeah, I just want someone to Goodwill hunt me,
Yeah. Well,
and
don't we all?
just see my deck and be like, wow, he solved it.
Well,
No, but I like.
Now remember
I like,
to play Magic with other people.
yes. Remember that you're playing with other humans.
I too often forget about what has been bounced back to people's hands. If it's not there in front of me, I don't see it.
I'm wondering if that's a
that's-
good reason. Is that a good reason?
As somebody who is a
In your
solitaire,
graveyard.
I am a solitaire
your
player
graveyard.
in recovery.
Yeah, you are.
Oh.
Yeah.
and I think that it is worth reminding the audience that the benefit of having either kill spells or bounce spells is that you won't be playing solitaire. That gets you into the game. It gets you interactive with whoever else is on the field. It allows you to make cool political moves and
Yep.
make deals and talk to people at your table. And that's what Magic is ultimately about. Not to say that solitaire can't be fun. It can, but experiment a bit. Get away from that. Try some new things.
Try some new card games.
That's funny. Yeah, I just
bounce some
realized
stuff.
you're like the tiger from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. if I can't see it, it can't see me. Like, can't see the card, doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist. I'm doing my
No,
own thing.
not a problem anymore.
It's not that I want to play solitaire, but like I do. But
Obviously, great.
even if I'm playing, I mean, not that I'm going to be doing much bouncing with Girid, but if I'm playing, like a stompy deck, I'd rather see what I'm going to be dealing with, right? If it goes to the graveyard, I can ask people for reminders, like about what went there, what's in your graveyard before I do things. Whereas when it's in the hand, you don't ask for those types of reminders. You can't look at what's in their hand unless you are Lucas and you just play telepathy turn 1.
Turn 2 telepathy.
Gotta love it.
Turn 2.
Yeah, it was a little slow. It was
Game
kind of
2.
embarrassing.
Turn 2.
It's a silly
Game
reason.
two,
It's
turn
not.
two.
It's not. it's not an excuse, and I've definitely played bounce in the past, but that does factor in the amount of times that people, and it's not just me, people forget about what's in your hand.
Yeah,
that's
very
been bounced
true.
back there if you don't play it right away.
I'm going to make some
And-
enemies with the audience.
Yeah, bring it on. Let's go.
But
Make
bounce with send triplets, man. So good. Oh, nice thing you played. I want to play that too. Bounce it. Okay, my
Oh.
turn. Let me see your hand. I want to play it.
That's good
It's the
stuff.
best.
That is a
Oh,
fan.
so
That's
rude.
so good.
Yeah.
And there you go. See, you'd rather not destroy
Oh,
in that
man.
deck. You want to bounce it, baby.
All right. Can I have a quick comment and then a question? Because I think we're probably have to start wrapping up here. Good question to end
Wrap
on the
it
kind
up
of
before
entitled.
you-
Yeah, end it.
Right.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So, comment is how, when you said Soul Sisters, how did none of us sing the Moulin Rouge song? That has been stuck in my head like ever since
When
you
you said
said
it, I
Soul
thought of it.
Sisters. Right? And I was like grooving. Oh, man. Anyway,
Hey,
there's that.
Sister, soul,
So-
sister,
right?
oh, sister.
Gotta get that flow, sister. Oh, yeah. All right.
There you go.
So,
Done. Out of the way.
Stanley
Right?
Cup.
Feels great. Oh, my God. Okay.
With the Berenstain Bears, Mandela. Went
So
to
the
my
que-
elementary school in.
Gilbert Gottfried was there, and he was a parrot,
Continue, Lucas.
a porcuparrot.
Riding a shark.
But then he got mutated, and then he got his wings back, so he flew away.
There you go.
Good job, guys.
The question is, would you rather have your board bounced or your board wiped? Right? And so my example cards will be like two of the most hated cards to be played against you. Wrath of God or Cyclonic Rift.
Wrath of God.
Yeah, Wrath.
And it's the key words.
Cyc-
all
you know what?
opponents'
Yeah.
stuff in Cyclonic Rift, whereas Wrath of God is all creatures.
Yeah,
isn't it?
okay, so so then maybe that is kind of unfair. Then Wrath of God or like I don't know, something like
Evacuation.
River's Rebuke, Evacuation. There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
evacuation.
So there you go. Much more fair. Totally. What would you rather? Would you still go with the Wrath? Or would you rather have your board bounced?
I think I would generally rather. I mean, it's so situational, obviously, but let's go destruction. Destruction is fun, but bounce allows you to play things. Okay, I'd rather bounce. I'm going to say it. I'd rather bounce. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, what am I saying?
I love just
What's wrong with
the
me?
highly detailed, very analytical.
Flop.
I'd rather be bounced, I think. Yeah, I mean, Cyclonic Rift is an unfair comparison.
Yeah, that's just everybody.
But I think, yeah, if you're talking about a thing that bounces your creatures, all creatures, or a thing that destroys all creatures, I'd rather, in most cases, I'd rather face a thing that bounces.
Yeah, but then
So-
sorry.
I'm going to go against the grain.
Do it.
Just because, like, if it's at sorcery speed, yeah, I'll rather a bounce. But something like evacuation, it's worth noting again, bounce is more versatile. And it's an instant, so it can be played at right before the person who played it, before their turn starts. I'd rather get a board wipe on their turn, knowing that I could have some recursion built into my deck, than have to worry about losing massive amounts of tempo and have this person just sort of start their turn untapped, able to do everything they want.
It's basically resetting
And
the
then
turn
maybe you have
order,
to-
right?
But-
You go
but
go
see-
first at that
And then
point,
maybe having
which
to
is powerful.
discard too.
But see here, this is funny. I was asking it as an opponent. So if would you rather have somebody wipe your board or bounce your board? You're not playing it. It's being played against you.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he'd rather, because they're going to bounce it before the start of their turn, which means that they will reset the turn order and they will start with a full board.
And they'll have the advantage.
Yeah. So that's a very good point, actually, Spencer. Darn it.
Right?
Darn it.
Because that's and also too, evacuation, is that return all creatures or all non-land permanents?
I think I have it open.
That returns all creatures, so it's a creature specific.
Okay.
It's just instant speed.
Okay.
Um,
So it is the
and-
equivalent.
And I do think it's worth noting that level of versatility is so common in bounce
Yes,
versus
such a good
card.
board wipe. And I do personally, and I can't, like, this is of course a personal thing. I build a lot of recursion into my decks to get stuff back from the
Yeah.
graveyards.
Yeah, I'm usually mindful of it too.
Yeah.
So that's why for me, so I would rather the wipe. I'd rather get wrathed over evacuated. I'd rather have the stuff destroyed. And so then also, which is also why then I'll support how bounce is also amazing in that sense, because if I'd rather have it destroyed, that means if you're bouncing it, you're just pissing me off more. You're getting in my head, you're throwing off my game. So it has a whole other effect that way, because it's a lesser way that I would rather you dealt with my stuff.
But in that same vein,
You'd be pissed off if your stuff.
yeah, you'd be pissed off either way, I think. But in that
I'd 100%
same
be pissed off either way.
thought process, you know what's great for politics is when somebody gets ahead and it's noticeable. So as Spencer was saying, if they evacuate before their turn, then they start playing everything. You can just look at all other people, hopefully if you have decent life total still, and you're not going to die immediately. You just do this. And then they go, all right, let's kill this guy. Yeah.
The
And
old
then-
smile and nod.
Yeah. For just on those on a podcast, the audio version, that was a cool grinning nod.
it's a smile
That's
and
what that
nod.
was. Well, it's attempted, but it was Colin, so it looked kind of stupid. But
Hey,
like,
look
also
goofy.
with your eyes wide
I
open
need
and
to-
smile and nod.
Colin smiles widely and nods.
I need to apologize,
That
guys.
narration.
There's gonna be some audio on my end. I was playing with my dice on the wood table, and it's probably gonna come through the mic.
Oh, we'll probably
So-
cut it out.
Spencer plays with his dice on the wood
It's
table.
Colin looks.
Yeah, so I think we're all on the same page. Like they have their strengths and weaknesses. Not every bounce spell though is going. Not every bounce mass bounce spell is going to be instant speed. In fact, most of them aren't. But it does have that extra versatility added, especially when it's at instant speed, and that's where bounce is really really good.
There you go. I think it's a good spot to wrap
So
it up.
There you have it. Bounce versus destruction. We have solved it.
We've solved
we did
it. Destruction and bounce. Win by a landslide.
Yep, and don't
Together.
forget,
Which one?
I still hate Porcuparrot.
And Porcuparrot.
Porcuparrot is the best.
Is amazing.
We decided.
But you've come to some real conclusive
All right.
evidence in all these
You
arguments.
got to jump in the comments, folks. You got to back me up here.
Oh yeah, comment and let us know how much you love Porcuparrot.
Hey, that's my part.
Oh, thanks.
Or review. Well, let's close out the show here.
Absolutely.
It's time for us to clean things up a bit with our cleanup step.
Is that like the cards?
so-
Oh my god.
Yeah, like the game, except we don't use other parts of the the turn order. Anyway, so hey, I'll say my part first then. We have please, if you like what you're hearing, and you want to see more, please comment, a review, give us a little heart or a like, that kind of thing. Really feels good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Makes us feel nice inside.
Feels so good.
Yeah. Lucas, what do we got going on these days? Other than a schedule.
That's right.
We got a new schedule.
Yeah, exactly.
Episode name. We have a new schedule.
Yeah. Rocking on our YouTube channel, folks. If you haven't seen it yet, please go and check it out, because we've got our infamous gameplay videos on there, as well as deck techs. And now going to start rocking that EDH tabletop stream, hopefully weekly, hopefully on YouTube. It keeps working for us. So go and check those out. And our YouTube channel is connected to all of our other social media channels as well. So you can find everything else we've got going on there. Same thing, hit that subscribe button, ding that little donger hanging out on that bar. And please share with your friends if you can. It helps us out a lot.
Mans.
Mm-hmm.
Check us out on twitch.tv/cardboardcommand, where we will be streaming gameplay videos, and it'll be a good time. Come check us out.
Hey, yo.
Yeah. We also got some more. We're working on a little something. Maybe some films, tabletop games.
Mm-hmm.
But
And
that's top secret. Don't tell anyone.
also, pay attention to our social media for the Mega Bowl. Please vote. We have 3 commanders up. We don't know who we're playing yet, but by the end of the week, we should have a clearer idea. The week that you get this podcast. So currently, go there. Check it
go
out.
there now.
And if you go to our Twitch channel, scroll to the bottom, you will notice you can join our Discord, where we are also hosting the votes. So come check us out and hang out and talk with us.
Amen.
Well, thus concludes thusly our podcast. Thus, except there's just one more thing for us to say. Remember, as always,
Keepeth on slangeth. And good night.
you heardeth here
Firsteth.
primarily.
See you later, folks.
Ciao, Bella.
Okay, bye.
Peace out, Holmes.
Good day, folks.
Music for this episode was adapted from the song Wholesome by Kevin MacLeod. Further attribution information can be found in the episode description. If you want to support our channel, review, comment, or become a patron, you can also check out our EDH gameplay and other content on our YouTube channel.